I'll tell you another great book I like to read in. It's a short chapter, but it tells us all things. And that's the book of Obadiah.
Yes.
It's in that book, it said, though you build your nest among the stars, and you bring them down.
Yes.
I had an uncle years ago. When I was a boy, I'd go visit him every time I could. And he couldn't read nor write, but he could remember the scriptures he'd hear a preacher preach on and talk on. And he could talk to you all day about the scriptures. You can take your Bible, you can follow right along with him. That's what kind of memory he had.
Well.
And when I was just small, he told me one day he was talking. He said a bird won't go so high in the sky that he don't come back down to the earth.
Yes.
He said neither will a squirrel climb so high in the tree that he won't come back to the ground.
That's right.
And he said that same way of a person.
Yes.
He gets the thing that he's flying too high.
Yes.
The Lord has a way of bringing him down.
That's right.
Now, you think about that now.
That's
He
good.
couldn't read or write,
Yes.
but he had that much common knowledge. Why? Because God gave it to him.
Yes.
He gave him ears to hear and a mind to remember.
That's right.
And I had a first cousin. He couldn't read nor write,
Yes.
but he could preach you a message, and you can follow it in the scripture. It'd make fire almost stand on your back of your neck, back of your head.
Yes.
And he could sing. Let me tell you, you could go to sing at a quarter of a mile or farther before he got to your house.
Wow.
And he'd come visit us every once in a while. And mother, he liked to hear him sing Away Far and Pilgrim. Some call it Wayfaring Stranger.
Yes.
And he'd come, when he'd come to our house, he'd come to singing that song. I remember one time, my mama stepped on the porch. His name was Elmer. He came in, she said, it won't be long till Elmer will be here. And one of my brothers spoke up and said, how you know? I said, I heard him singing my song.
Well.
In just a few minutes, he come in.
That's something, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And he could hear a gospel song, say, like this morning before he left his house, he got to church, he could sing that song, never miss a word.
Well.
He sure could do it. And one of them, there's one song, you remember the song that I think Loretta Lynn come out with? Everybody wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die.
Something like that, yeah.
I heard him sing it in church.
Uh-huh.
He didn't have nothing but his mind, his mouth. He couldn't read it. If it had it, he couldn't have read it.
Huh.
Just exactly. He didn't miss a word.
Yeah.
And see, the Lord had to be in the midst for a person to be able to do that.
That's right.
And I've been around people that been through college and everything. They couldn't carry a tune in a grass sack, those said used to go.
Yes.
But they could sing like no use of talking.
Yes.
And many of the other songs I've heard him sing, and he didn't have to have it written down. And we used to go to church with a fella. He finally passed away. Say like they was choosing a song to sing in a choir. They could say page, call it by page number.
Uh-huh.
He could tell anybody the title of what the song was.
Yeah.
And you'd have thought he wouldn't have had no mind at all the way way he was. He had a problem, he couldn't help it, but you would have thought he wouldn't have had no mind at all.
Yes.
And if we called the song, he could tell you what page it's on.
Yes.
And there was
Yeah. You go ahead.
there was something else I was going to say you. I forgot now what it was.
Okay. I was looking at my dad's old calf earlier.
All right.
It's real dirty and stuff, and he was about to throw it in the trash, and I snatched it and put it on that lamp. You can see where his dirty thumb has been touching the bill.
I don't blame you. I'd keep it. I'd keep it too.
Yeah. It needs a good
I got
wash.
things here. I got things here at my house. Little things. People wouldn't think nothing but throw it in their trash. People being here, people out here. And I've got a little old end. You know, like them little plugs thing goes on the end of a pull chain to turn the light on and off with.
Yes.
I've got one of them little plugs that hangs on the end of a chain
Uh-huh.
that a man had. I sat with him a while. I was with him about 2 or 3 weeks and he passed away.
Yeah.
And he was so close I could walk to his house. I didn't have to drive. I walked back and forth to his house, back home. But just little things like that. You don't worship it, but you remember the ones that had it
That's right.
and where he got it. And you don't forget them.
Yeah.
This old man that passed away, I just listened. We've talked about it. I don't think I ever will forget him. Me and him come so close. To feed him, cook him for him for 2.5 years. Sometimes I take him a banana. Sometimes I take him an apple. Sometimes I take him a peach, orange, maybe a candy bar or a cake. Sometimes I take him a pint of ice cream. Just little things.
Yes.
People think nothing of it.
Just thinking of something below that cat. Mom gave me this years ago.
All right.
It says, I love you.
All right.
Of course, it's obviously a Valentine's Day thing, but
It's still good keepsake.
yeah. You gotta take some of
Yeah.
this stuff down and clean it.
So he said in the recliner. I'd take it in there to him. Hand it to him, he'd say, what about that?
Yeah.
And one time I took him for ice cream.
Yeah.
He said, I believe the best ice cream I have ever eaten.
You might remember this.
Yeah, I remember it.
It's up on the shelf, but it's kind of blocked off by that light. I remember you giving that to me.
Yes, I gave it to you.
Yeah.
I gave it to you from my heart, too.
Yeah.
It
Thanks.
wasn't just to be a day.
I wish I didn't lose the box. That's one of the knives my dad had.
All right.
Old timer brand.
They were a good knife.
Yeah.
I've got 75 brand new knives, different brands, still in the original box they came in.
Yeah.
And they're so sharp. I've never cut mess with them. They're so sharp. You can slice a piece of paper, just actually you can slice it.
Yeah.
And there's a store, part of our store, where I go get chicken feed, little odds and ends every once in a while.
Yeah.
and they got 3 cases of different kind of knives. And they were checking somebody out. I just stopped there waiting, looked at the knife. Somebody asked us, "Did you need a knife?" I don't know why. I said, "I don't know why I got 75 brand new ones at the house. Why do I need one more?"
Well, I think I got about 5 or 6, and some of them in rough condition.
When I got mine, I'd catch them on sale for $3, $4, $5, and $6 a piece.
Yeah.
Most of the time somebody's looking for a knife.
Yeah.
Somebody has a good knife, I can sell them one.
Yes.
And that time I found a yellow panel case might have been a little bit bigger than one you had. Is that old timer just opened up?
Yes.
Just a little bit bigger. And the guy offered me, said, "I'll give you $25 for it." I said, "Here's your knife." And I found it just a few days before that.
Yeah.
I'm drinking water.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been drinking this prime stuff. Got a little bit of coconut water in it, and that kind of coats my throat.
But I like a good cold water.
Yeah.
I don't know if you get it up there or not. This is what they call Zephyr Hill water. And if you never find any up there and drink water, get you some. It's the best bottled water you can get.
Yeah. I need to.
And a lot of it,
Yeah.
and a lot of it's got salt taste to it. I don't want no water salt taste. But
Yeah.
this you don't taste that but the water.
That's good.
I hear a dog, he's wanting to start barking.
Oh, okay.
But this is a good friend is worth more than money.
That's right.
I heard my daddy talk about that a lot of times.
Yes.
He said, if you got a good friend and need money, he said he'll help you.
Yes.
He said he may not give you what you need, but said he will help you.
Yes.
And he said a good friend is always more precious than money and more precious than gold.
That's right.
But how true you are. I remember that from a boy, him making those statements.
Yes.
In the first Bible I ever read, I was just going to school, just began to learn how to read. And had a little, did a little bit of homework, it wasn't much.
Yes.
But as soon as I get home, I do that homework, I go to that Bible, and I pick that Bible up. And I'd read till I got, in other words, I'd read almost a lot of times till I go to sleep reading.
Yes.
And by the time I was 10 years old, I'd read the whole New Testament from Matthew unto through Revelation.
That's wonderful.
I didn't understand what I read, but I loved it. I couldn't hardly walk past it when I was reading it. I didn't want to lay it down.
Yeah.
But today I remember why, because the Lord was preparing me for today.
That's right. Yes.
I couldn't see that far in the future, but He could.
Yes.
And I still remember where it was always laying at. In the old log house we lived in. But since then, it's been torn down and moved and put up another place. And it had a fireplace. There was a living room and a kitchen. We all slept and sat in the living room. That was a bedroom, too.
Yes.
And my daddy was in the kitchen, and he was praying. That's the first time I remember hearing my daddy pray, and I've never forgot it. I never forgot where he was at. That stayed in my mind all these years.
Yes.
And I still think about it once in a while. If I didn't, I wouldn't have thought about it now.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't forget things like that. And I had a person tell me, said, your mama's gone, you want to think about her now. I said, you might not love your mother, but I love mine.
Yeah.
That's sad somebody speaks that way about somebody's mother.
Yeah.
Ain't no way you can forget them if you
That's
loved them.
Yeah.
But again, I'm so thankful that we become friends.
That's right.
And we've never met except through the word, now through the computer, or internet.
Yes.
But still, we connect through the Spirit. This is how we're connected.
Yeah.
This is how we're growing in a knowledge of the Lord and a deeper respect for each other.
Yeah. I've never even been to the state that you live in.
I can think, don't remember either been in West Virginia.
Yeah, you was right next door to us for a while. Yeah, I think your hometown is perhaps 100 miles away or something.
Something like that.
Yeah,
It might be might be a little bit more than that.
yeah,
Yeah, I was going to tell you something I listened to I think it last night.
uh-huh.
Sometimes going back to some probably in the old time country singers, and this one guy, he had worked in the mines. I think it's 24, 25 years.
Yes.
And he retired. This man went to visit him, was showing him his dog. He got talking. He said, my daddy used to be a dynamiter. And said he was outside and had a stick of dynamite in his hand and a cap. And had a little old fuse on it. And all he done was lit a cigarette. Now he hadn't even touched with his hand when he lit the cigarette with, hadn't even touched nothing even close to the stick of dynamite.
Well.
But that dynamite exploded in his hand. And it said it's so powerful, his arm stuck to the ceiling where his arm went up there and hit the ceiling.
Huh.
Now, that had been something now.
Yes, it would have.
Close, that close to your daddy, or to anyone, blow up right there. So almost arm reach from you.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt the other person, just him.
Yeah. Hey, I got one telling my uncle.
All right.
He went to set off some dynamite or something one time, and well, he thought it was safe. He was sitting in the outhouse.
Yeah.
And the outhouse turned over with him. But that's how close a person can come to leaving this world. Yes.
And it would have been ready.
Yeah.
I'm talking about being very expected. They wouldn't have thought nothing about it. Something like that's going to happen.
That's right. Car accident, whatever, you know.
And I tell you, that time about I had a tie rod to fall off on my truck.
He might have, I forgot.
Anyway, I've been back in the mountains for working. I was cleaning fence rows. And when I left, I had to cross little homemade bridge. They call it what they call them in raised ford, but it's a bridge.
Yeah.
Built out of 6x6s, something like that.
Yeah.
Or 12 by 60.
Yeah.
Anyway, you had a little rail on the bridge. It wasn't up, it just alongside the edge. And I got about halfway across that bridge, and a tie rod fell off, and I didn't have maybe a foot and a half where I could get under that car, my truck. And I seen what happened. I just put it back there and bumped it with a hand, put it back up on that thing it fell off of.
Uh-huh.
And it didn't have no pin to hold it with. I got me some baler twine. I always carry some with me out like that. And I took that baler twine, and I tied that up where it wouldn't fall back off till I got home. And that time it was too late to go have it fixed. And it's about 15 miles to the closest town I could get to have it fixed.
Yeah.
And it had some rough road to go over. And when I took it to town the next day to get my tire rod put on, I pulled it up from this little garage where they done that kind of work. And he said, "What you need?" I said, "I need a tire rod put on." He said, "All right." He got under there. It scared him when he saw what I'd done. He said, "How come you drove this truck that way?" And I told him, he said, "I wouldn't have done it in no circumstance." He got and walked past the floor before he got her to fix it. And you drove that far with it tied up as a grass train. I said, "I sure did. Didn't know another way getting here." It actually scared him.
Yeah.
I don't know why it should have, but it did. In other words, he's never seen nothing like it before, don't reckon.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get stuck, you have to try something.
Yeah. You can't pay a toll bill on either, too, sometimes, you know.
Right. But that scared him big time.
Yeah.
I didn't think about scaring him,
Yeah.
being able to fix somebody's car and get paid for it and get scared.
I bet you never did get any pictures of that, did you?
I wish I had them, but there wasn't no way around to get them.
Yeah.
And I told you about my brother trying to scare me with a dumbbell, didn't I?
Maybe.
Anyway, I'll tell you. Even I've told you before, I'll tell you again. My oldest brother, he thought I was a little bit late to come into the house when I'd been out with a neighbor. And he was going to scare me to keep me home. My uncle told him, said, "Now, don't you try that. When you try that, you're going to get the worst end of it." Said, "Because I know he won't scare." Said, "You think he is, but you get fooled the worst you ever was."
Mm-hmm.
Said, "You will not scare him." He said, "I'm going to scare him." He made a dumbbell out of oatmeal box. I can make one today. It won't take me long at all.
Yeah.
And you put what you do, you punch your hole through the bottom, and you run your string through there. You have a button on it where it won't go all the way through. You get you some pine rosin, and rosin that string good.
Yeah.
You can pull on that string across that rosin. It'll make a sound you can hear you half a mile away
Well,
if the air's sitting just right. And he got up above the road. He had to cross a fence, a rail fence, and he thought he was up there, and he thought I couldn't see him or I'd run. He started pulling that string, instead of me getting scared, I hunted him up.
Oh.
I was going to the noise from where he came from. I was going to see what was doing it. And he saw me. He broke out into a run, and I saw him jump the fence. I had to go by a barn, an old barn, and he jumped that rail fence into the barn rock and went on up to the house. I just took my time, just poked along. And when I got to the house, he's sitting in a chair with his foot propped up in another chair in front of him. I said, his name was Wendell. I said, Wendell, what's wrong with your foot? He said, I don't know. I heard it some way. I said, did you hurt it when you jumped the fence? And my uncle started laughing and slapping his knees with both hands. He almost laughed as he cried. He told my brother, he said, didn't I tell you that you would get the worst end of it? You tried to scare him, but he wasn't scared. He said, now go try it again. He never tried it. He didn't have the least idea how to hunt him up.
Yeah.
But my daddy was the same way. He wasn't scary at all. A man tried to scare him one night, and my daddy had been going home from work, and right at dark, had to walk from job to job, from the job to home, from his home to the job.
Yeah.
And this man hunkered down behind that rail fence, trying to scare him. My daddy was good with a rock. He picked up a rock, knocked that top of the fence rail off right on top of this man's head. He come out there and said, don't throw no more. He identified it, said, don't throw no more. My daddy said, you're lucky. Said, I didn't bust your head.
Yeah.
Said, if you standing up, it would have.
Yeah.
Because he could kill a rabbit with a rock as quick as you would anything else.
Yes.
But he never tried to scare him no more. Right? Sometime he takes it. I'll tell you one more. Somebody might say it might have been. Where we live, we had to go around the little hill and over hills to spring and get our water. And my first cousin, when I told you could sing so good, they couldn't read and write, and he'd come to our house. He got 2 water buckets, went to get her some water. About a week before he come over there, they cut some timber, and they cut a big old poplar tree. And it was holler, the log. First log we cut off had a big holler. And I slipped along behind my first cousin. I got down on my hands and knees and backed up into that log. I didn't crawl into it, I backed up into that log. And he got his water. He come back, walking back up the hill, that water, 2 buckets of water. He's whistling. He'd whistle a lot.
Uh-huh.
Now they didn't get about 10 steps in front of me. I come out of that holler log and digging in the leaves and screaming, and man, he dropped them both buckets of water. And he just stood there for a minute, solid as a tree standing there. And he picked up his water bucket and went back to the spring, filled them up again. And I went on back in the house. And he said, well, my mama's name, we called her Sophie. He said, Aunt Sophie, if that young was mine, I'd whip him till he couldn't sit down. He said, what in the world's he done? He said, he like to scare me to death a few minutes ago. So he'd crawled up in a holler log and come out behind me screaming and digging in the leaves. She just laughed, said, yeah, it won't go hurt you, just go on till it's all over with. If I had been now, I wouldn't have done it, but you know, boy like.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it even scaring him, but more it did. Well, like I said, it's been good talking with you again,
Yes, we get to talk with you too.
and I'll say good night. God bless you. Lord will, we may be back here tomorrow night. We may get 3 or 4 more, or a couple of more chapters here in Revelation.
Yeah.
I want to go through them churches. So we didn't get through all of them, just part of them.
Yeah.
And it's so much. I know I try to go through them all at the same time. It's too much there to glean from.
That's right.
And you miss a lot of it.
Yeah.
You take 1 or 2 chapters, they ain't very long, you'll be kind of go through them. But still, you can go back to it later and find more.
Yes. Well, good night. God bless.
Good night. God bless you too.